What's good, y'all? Back with another reaction. Today we got husband discovers his wife is a mass killer. Now, I just did a reaction that was really similar to this. If you haven't seen that, go check that out.
Lori Vallow Daybell is a former beauty contestant.
She's lost her mind. She thinks she's a resurrected being and a god.
Anybody you spoke to who knew Lori back then said that she was like the mother of the year.
So what makes her a danger to herself and to others?
Threaten me, murder me, kill me.
We're gathering together as saints, as brothers and sisters, and preparing for the second coming of Christ.
Bro, that sounds like
She
a cult.
threatened to murder you?
Yes.
6 months later, Vallow was shot and killed.
Police say they found a man with gunshot wound who was later pronounced dead.
The first death that kicked off this multi-state mystery.
Inside is Lori Vallow's husband, dead on the living room floor.
What happened today? How did it get to this?
She said, "You're
I
not
need to know.
Charles. I don't know who you are, what you did with Charles, but I can murder you now with my powers."
So how does she pose
crazy.
a threat to your children?
Lori, where are your kids?
Powers.
No comment? They've been missing for...
I don't know who you are or where you are now, but I'm gonna murder you now with my powers. That's some
4
crazy
months. You have
shit,
nothing
boy.
to say?
Like,
Now, Lori Daybell appears to be somebody else.
shit.
She has 2 missing children, JJ Vallow, Tylee Ryan.
I don't know what she's going to do with them. I don't know if she's going to flee with them. She's going to hurt them.
All right. Is it this house or the one with the flashing lights?
Right there. Cars are all gone. I don't know where my kids are. Well, get in. Oh my God.
nah, they got the same last name, so it's not.
It
gonna
all
happen.
started on
Like,
January 31st, 2019, when Charles Vallow was still alive and had just returned from a business trip to find he was locked out of his own house, with no sign of his wife, Lori, or his kids, JJ and Tylee. His car had also gone missing, and a large sum of cash had been withdrawn from his bank account. So in an effort to get some answers, he called 911.
Right, rightfully
going
so.
on
Anybody
tonight?
would call the
I
police.
can't get in touch with my kids.
How old are your kids?
6.5 and 16. She's lost her mind. I don't know how else to say it. She thinks she's a resurrected being and a god, and remember the 144,000. Jesus is coming next year.
So what makes her a danger to herself and to others?
Threatened me, murder me, kill me.
She threatened to murder you?
Yes. She said, "You're not Charles. I don't know who you are, what you did with Charles, but I can murder you now with my powers."
Is this
Yeah,
just
so
all
she's crazy. She's got some type of psychosis going on. Like she's lost in reality. She's not living in reality.
recent, or
She's a
has
danger
it
to
been going
herself and
on?
others.
Been going on for about 4 or 5 years. It's gotten really, really bad lately. She goes to the temple
4 to
every day,
5
speaks
years.
with Moroni and Jesus Christ. Last couple of days, she says, "I'm not Charles. You're not Charles. You're Nick Schneider."
According to Lori, Nick Schneider is an evil spirit who has possessed
What the fuck? Look, how far we done made it in. I done made it 2 minutes and 48 seconds into this shit. And I feel like I'm at the beginning. I'm more lost than I was at the beginning. You said Nick Schneider is an evil
Charles'
spirit.
body, and he believed
possessed
these threats
Charles.
against his life were very real. In the last few years, she had become obsessed with the teachings of a man named Chad Daybell.
This is the cult leader. This is the cult leader. This is the person right here that's fucking her mind up.
Last few years,
God
she had
damn.
become obsessed with the teachings of a man named Chad Daybell, a man well known for writing dogmatically and teaching his thoughts about the end of days, the second coming of Christ, and other more unique concepts like evil spirits and zombies. Both Chad
Y'all
and
gotta be careful who you follow and like who you let influence your thoughts. Like you won't believe the rabbit hole.
Lori were also members of Preparing a People, a cult who were preparing for the second coming of Jesus Christ and the end of the world as we know it. Lori also believed she was a member of the 144,000, a group of high priests who will administer the everlasting gospel to the world in its last days. She also believed that every human was on a scale between light and dark, and the darker one's spirit was, the more dangerous they were to her and her beliefs. Lori had actually become so involved in this new religious belief that Charles had become concerned not only for himself, but his 2 children as well.
She said,
Bro, why do you still have her alone with the kids and things like that? Yo, you're not right in the head either. For
Charles' stuff is gone. You're not Charles, your stuff is gone. I don't know what that
And
means.
how long have you been trying to get in touch with the kids?
Since yesterday.
So how does she pose a threat to your children?
what have you done to try to get her help? Like that's what I want to know. What have you guys done to try to get her help?
I don't know if she's going to flee with them. She's going to hurt them. And today she said, come take the kids. I don't care what happens to them. I just want to see my boys okay.
Why didn't you come take the kids?
A pickup order can be obtained after one parent fails to deliver a child to another parent. As Charles has not heard from his kids in days, he felt he had no choice but to take action. The cops then helped Charles get back in the house, but it was too late, as Lori and the kids were gone. The very next morning, Charles called 911 again, this time directing them to a hotel in Gilbert, Arizona, where he believed Lori was hiding out with JJ and Ty Lee. This time, though, Charles had managed to obtain an emergency mental health petition, a note that would require Lori...
Yeah, right. There we go. Now he's doing the right things. Now, an emergency evaluation is a way to get a person who presents a danger to the life or safety of themselves or others to an emergency room to be examined. Okay. So what are they going to do? Pull her out
to check into a mental health institution and undergo assessment.
What's going on? Why is she here and you're not here, or are you staying here with her?
Long story. She's had kind of a break from me, and I've tried to support her as much as I could, but it's gotten really, really bad lately. She's had a break. She says, I'm Nick Schneider. I've taken over Charles's body, and Charles has been killed. I'm going to kill you. You're going to be murdered today or tomorrow.
Charles had already tried to find Lori earlier that morning by turning up at JJ's school, but despite seeing her car in the parking lot, there was no sign of her at all. However, she had left her purse in the car, so Charles took it in hopes that it would stop her from getting away. This worked perfectly, as she walked into the Gilbert police station later this same morning to report her missing purse. But her version of events was much different.
So this morning when I took my son to school, he was waiting somewhere and stole my purse out of the car, my whole purse. So my phone, my wallet, my money, my everything was in there.
What is it that motivates him doing this kind of stuff? Does he say why?
I caught him cheating and I had evidence and I told him about it, and he travels a lot for business, so I told him about it and told him not to come home and that his stuff would be gone and that his car would be gone and all this thing. So he's a little mad.
She claimed that she'd caught Charles having an affair and
that's a lie. That's a lie, and the kid knows it's a lie too. Cause you see how the kid put I don't know, guy, boy, or girl, but you see how the kid put their hand on the mom's like, stop.
and told him not to come home, locking him out of the house and taking his car. The first of many carefully fabricated lies that would not only ruin Charles's life, but end it. Police informed Charles that he can't steal Lori's property no matter what the motive. A deal was then formed between them saying that if Charles returned her purse, then the police would immediately follow up with the mental health petition. But eventually it went through and Lori underwent her assessment. However, in 2 hours, Lori was released with the doctors finding no issues at all. This decision sentenced Charles to death and put his kids' lives in jeopardy. Charles filed for divorce, and 6 months later, his body was found at Lori's house with 2 gunshot wounds across his body. The fate of his children.
Why was that the end of it though? Like, why would you just take take her word for whatever? Why was that the end of it? Why didn't you have her show you evidence of this and that and that?
Was now in the hands of their delusional and dangerous mother.
Hey team, we got one subject down, apparent gunshot wounds to the chest. He's right here in the living room. Firearm's gonna be in the front door, in the front bedroom, laying on the ground next to a case. You wanna stay here? I'll see if I get this guy's info.
When Charles's body was found, an investigation determined the shooter to be Alex Cox, a man who just so happened to be the brother of Lori Vallow.
What's going on? What happened?
He came at me with a bat.
Okay. Was he living here or
No.
visiting?
He came to pick up his son.
Okay, is the son inside?
No. My sister took him to school.
Okay, so it was just you at the house?
Yes.
And he came, how long, what time did he come to pick up the son?
I don't know, 20 minutes ago maybe.
Okay, so you know who he is?
Killed this nigga in front of his son. And you say he came at you with a bat. I don't know how believable that is. And then even if the nigga did come at you with a bat, bro, For you to come at me with a bat and me to smoke your ass, I wanted to kill you, bro. Like, it was more than you coming at me with a fucking bat. Like niggas.
Let him in.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
You ain't had
they
to
were
smoke
talking
for coming
earlier,
at you with a
she
bat,
left,
bro.
And then
I mean,
he
shit.
got into it with me.
Look like he
Like
got
what?
into it
What do you
with
mean?
you. There we go.
I don't know. He was.
Alex seems very vague in his answers and says he can't remember exactly what happened, other than the pair simply got into a fight. But those kinds of answers aren't going to satisfy the cops, especially when there's a dead man involved.
So you both, so you get in an argument? What
I
is it
don't
over?
know. I feel like it was more to it than. Excuse me. I feel like it was more to it than he just came at you with a bat, bro. Like, it's a lot more to
My
it.
sister, he was getting physical with her, and so my niece came out with her bat, and then he took the bat away from her.
Wait a minute, I thought you said your niece left.
She did. This was before.
So before your sister and your niece left,
Yeah.
at some point your sister and her husband are arguing,
Yes.
verbal argument, and then your niece pulls out a bat.
Well, it wasn't verbal. He was getting close, and she came out to defend my sister with her bat.
Your niece.
Yes.
Okay.
And then she poked at him, and he took it away.
Okay.
And then he's coming back at me, and he still got the bat in his hand. I'm like, what are you doing?
And where are you at it? Where are
We
you
were
both
in the
at?
living room.
Okay.
And then I turned around, and he hit me in the back of the head with the bat. I went to my room and got my gun.
Right there, murder. He hit me in the back of the head, and then I went to my room and got my gun. And then I'm assuming you came out. You know you can't do that, brother. You know you can't do that.
So you went to your room, meaning the room you're staying in?
Yeah.
Okay, and you brought a gun with you?
Yes.
Do you always
Yes.
bring a gun? Okay, why didn't you stay just in your bedroom, close the door? Is that something you didn't think about, or?
It didn't even occur to me.
It didn't even occur to me. All right, well, you know, you're going to prison. You're going to prison, big boy. You're not supposed to do that. See, if you had already had the gun on you and he hit you in the back of the head with the bat, and let's just say you fell, pop, pop, boom. That's self-defense. Like, you could argue that, and you'd probably beat that. You're a white man, killed another white man. You probably beat that. But the fact that he hit you in the back of the head with a bat, boom, and then you went to your room, and then you came out of your room with a gun and shot him, that right there is like case closed. Murder.
Final statement should actually have torn down Alex's entire argument, as it technically proves this wasn't self-defense at all.
Right.
When Alex went to his room to grab his gun, he should have been able to usher his family inside, close the door, and stand his ground from there.
Right.
Instead, he grabbed his gun and, without a second thought, ran straight up to Charles and shot him. But at this point, there were still so many looming questions. The cops decided to bring in all parties back for an interrogation to try and get to the bottom of it all and figure out exactly what happened to Charles.
Start where you think it makes the most sense.
Okay, so we moved into this house 3 weeks ago because he offered to get me a house here where all my family is. We were in Houston. We had decided to separate or whatever, so he's like, well, I'll pay for a house for you and for JJ and whatever, because he's all about JJ. He's never about Tylee, but he's all about JJ. Because we adopted him together. He's his great nephew. We adopted him as a baby. He came when we first moved in and brought me stuff from Houston, like a U-Haul, and then he hasn't been back. But it's all these threats on my phone all the time, you know, like whatever, all these things. And then he told me,
what kind of threats?
Just, he's always mad at me, right? And he doesn't want a divorce, but I don't like him and don't want to deal with him, so that's just how it is. So we married for 14 years, we dealt with it for 14 years, of him being horrible to her. Like, he gets in huge fights with her, a lot of things, but anyway.
Immediately, Lori describes Charles as a man with violent tendencies who had a history of aggression against the women he had married. If she can convince detectives that Charles had a temper, it would make their version of events even more plausible.
So he went back to the Houston house, and he's like, I'm coming on Wednesday night, and I'm going to come pick up JJ and take him to school Thursday, pick him up Thursday, take him Friday, whatever. And I said, Casey wanted to come to the house, and I said, you can't come stay at this house because you can't get along with Tylee. She's a minor, and she has to live here.
Yeah.
So because he gets in huge fights up there.
Okay.
And she hates him. And so like, you can't stay at the house, so I will book you a hotel, because he stays in hotels all the time because he travels.
That was the daughter. That was the daughter right there, the one that's helping her mama lie and put her hand on her mom's hand in the interrogation room. Kylie, that's the daughter that. Okay, I'm just putting pieces together.
Business pays for it.
What does he do?
He works with teachers in their retirement plans, but he
And
goes
you
to
can't get
them.
mad at the kid for hating the dad, I guess. Because, look, and I've been through this in my family too. One parent will paint the other parent as a villain. And both parents are villains. But the one parent's painting it very, 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 very lopsided. Both parents paint it lopsided, but one's painting it motherfucking 12-12 roof slope, if y'all know what that is. It's just crazy.
He mostly works in California.
Okay.
He has
You can tell she's lying.
in different areas, and so he just goes wherever. Okay. It kind of just gives him freedom that he doesn't have to stay home every day and take care of special needs. Yeah. It's like an excuse, right? We came over in the morning, and he's like banging on the door. I'm like, oh great, here we go, you know. And then JJ was like, oh,
daughter
Dad.
feels that way against
and
her.
then he was like, Mommy, and I ran to me and was like holding me. He's like, you're not taking me to school. And I was like, it's okay, Dad, you can just drive you to school. It's not a big deal. You know, just trying to make it whatever. Yeah, calm. And then he was just being real smirky and real like jerky, you know, to me. And I was like ignoring him, whatever. And so he was like,
Your brother lives there with you?
No.
Okay.
He had stayed with me last night because I was worried he was going to come over and cause trouble with me.
Okay.
Just wanted someone else there, like my brother there, because I trust my brother.
They would claim
No, I feel like you wanted your brother there because you had it set up that you were going to kill him. You guys were going to do something to kill him.
Self-defense as the reason Charles was killed. And as the cops continue to question Lori,
only got hit with a bat
they start to
once and
believe
shot him.
this even more.
Why? Why would you believe? Why are you believing this? He literally got hit in the head with a bat, went to the bedroom, grabbed the gun, came out, and killed him. And all of that time, you're going to tell me you're going to go after the nigga with the bat again? And you're in fear for your life? Is that what you're saying?
He's gone nuts on us a lot of times. Tyler and I have had to leave with JJ over the years, probably 5 times, and just stay in the hotel for 2 days because you don't know what's going to set him off. Like, she's mad at me for always, like, going back. But we had JJ, and he's special needs, and it's really hard. Like, it's even hard to take care of by yourself.
So you thought, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but
like you know, mom takes you out or whatever, y'all go stay in a hotel, blah blah blah. Like. So I really hope she's not lying about that. I really do. But, you know, they did find her in that hotel. But at the same time, like,
you thought it was
for him to end up dead and all of this.
Absolutely, he was going to hurt me and Tylee.
Okay.
Not JJ. He would never hurt JJ.
Okay.
And he hurt my brother. Like, he was going, like, ballistic about it. Was bad.
Okay.
An angry husband losing his temper during a divorce is not uncommon, and feuding couples often come to blows, making her story more and more convincing. But according to Charles's ex-wife Cheryl, this was not the man she knew. She says they were married and divorced, and not one time, not 1 second, was he ever physically threatening to me, directly contradicting what Lori is saying.
You say
and then you gonna tell me he beat you or whatever, and then he called the police? You gonna tell me he beat you or whatever, like he beat you so bad that y'all ran to a hotel or whatever, right? And then you gonna sit there and tell me that, he called the police or whatever and launched the investigation, all of that stuff. That's not the behavior that makes sense.
That means that can mean a lot of different things. Right. So, like, physical violence.
He's never really, besides like grabbing us and pushing us, but not like punching us or something. But with Tylee, he has gotten physical.
Okay.
So besides grabbing us, pushing us, and punching us, he hasn't gotten physical. She's lying. Like, I'm bewildered by
I was going to hit her, but then I got in between them.
So this morning he comes back in and...
He comes back in, I won't give him his phone. He was screaming at me to give him his phone. He was very worried about whatever was on his text that he did not want me to see. And
should've gave him his
so
phone.
I was just holding it there, and he was screaming.
What do you mean his text that he did not want me to see? Why do you even care about it or whatever? Why do you want to see it? Why do you care about anything in his fucking phone? You literally have a whole new boyfriend. Y'all are separated. You moved on. Why are you sitting here trying to control him or whatever? Like, you still is. I hope the officer sees this.
And so Tylee came out of her room upset, and she had a bat. and she told him to leave her mother alone, like, right? So she was really whatever, and he's screaming at her, "Don't you hit me with that bat," and blah, 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 blah. And then my brother heard all the commotion because he was in there, and so he came out into the main room, and he's yelling at Tylee, "Don't you hit me with that bat," and blah, blah, blah. And so Tylee, I guess, I don't know if she swung at him or what, but he like grabbed the bat from Tylee and then went to like hit Tylee with the bat. It was, and I was right there, they were right there, and my brother grabbed him from behind, like just to stop him from hitting Tylee. They got into the thing, and he's hitting him with the bat, and they're on the ground, like grappling around or whatever. And then,
And he hit your brother with the bat while they were grappling and stuff?
Yes.
But there are lingering questions left by the investigation.
Look at that hesitation and the way that she looks at the ground. When the officer says, or the detective says, "Did he hit your brother while they were grappling around with the bat," or whatever, right? And she looks down. Yes. She's lying.
One such example being that the autopsy ruled one of the gunshots impacted while Charles was on the ground. Imagine being in a situation where...
Yo, so y'all are wrestling, whatever, hit you come out, shoot him. He falls, you shoot him again.
Where you have no choice but to...
The fact, why is he not locked up yet?
Shoot someone. You'd probably freeze up, and you'd do anything you could to avoid anything but incapacitating them, instead of finishing the job. So it seems strange that Alex decided to shoot Charles a second time when he was already flat on the ground. Furthermore, it also seems strange that it would take almost 45 minutes for anyone to call 911. Although she claims it was down to shock, this is conveniently just enough time to concoct an alternative version of events, and
45 minutes, bro. What the fuck? 45 minutes. You didn't call the police. He didn't call the police. Neither kid called the police. Before the police showed up, you got her out the house, the kids out the house, everything. You got it.
Solid story to give to the police.
Okay, so you hear the argument, you step out. What's the first thing that you see?
Clear, like,
Charles chasing after Lori.
Okay. Had Tylee already gotten the bat? Did he already have the bat? Okay. So Charles is coming towards Lori.
He's coming towards Lori, and I shoved him back.
Okay.
I said, "What are you doing?" Because he's coming at her aggressively.
Okay.
He's a big dude, so I wasn't gonna.
So he's coming at her.
Yeah.
And you shoved him back.
Yeah.
What happened right after that?
So I went into the bedroom where I was staying and grabbed my gun. I came back. I said, "Put that bat down."
Now the story's changing. You're telling no. So at first the story was he was gonna hit her with the bat. You took the bat, or he was gonna hit her with the bat, and then he hit you with the bat, and then you went in the room. You came out with the gun and you killed him. Now the story is he was gonna hit her with the bat. So you went into the room and got the gun? Rewind it.
So I went into the bedroom where I was staying and grabbed my gun. I came back. I said, "Put that bat down."
So yeah, so now he was about to hit her with the bat. You came in, you went into the room, you grabbed the gun, you came out of the bedroom with the gun, and then you said, "Put that bat down." So now you have the gun before the fight. But before, you had the fight before you had the gun. You talked to your lawyer, and he was like, "Nah, that's not gonna fly."
He's like,
"Now
"What are you
trying
gonna
to
do?
change it."
So you're gonna threaten me? I was like, "No, I'm just gonna defend myself. So you put that bat down." And he goes, "What are you gonna do it like that?" And he came at me.
Okay.
And he'd already hit me in the head.
So you gave him. How many times would you say you told him to put the bat down?
Once.
Once. Okay. And then he started advancing towards you.
Yes.
And then he didn't even advance towards you. You already said that he lunged at you, and you just took that. And from what I'm gathering of what you're saying, you just took that lunge, that flinch at you, as an opportunity to take his life.
How many shots did you fire?
I fell with the couple.
One of Lori's friends later reported that Lori had said Alex believed her theories about Charles being possessed by evil, and the reason he was at the house at the time of death is simple. He believed Charles was going to try...
He believed her theories about her being possessed by an evil spirit? They're both fucking nuts.
...and kill Lori, and moved in with her to help keep her safe.
I didn't see the shot, I heard it, and then I came back around and I saw that he was on the ground. Okay. And was freaking out. Yeah. And so I was just freaking out, and it just went into mama. And I've got to go to the kids, to school, I've got to get to the kids. I gotta get to the kids.
Why do you gotta get to the kids?
I just went outside and to see if they were in there okay. I didn't want them coming back in the house when all that was going on. And Tylee was like looking at me with like the crazy eyes, like what just happened. And I told her to get in the car and we're going to take JJ to school. And
why?
I just left.
When you came back in and you saw him on the ground, where was your brother? Did you see him where he was at?
My kids just witnessed a murder. I'm going to take them to school. Yo, this bitch is crazy.
Yeah, he was right in front of him.
Did your brother say anything to you at all? Do you remember?
No, we were both just in shock.
Okay.
Like, it was just I didn't say anything. I went out with the kids just to check on them first, and I was going to come back in maybe, but I didn't. I was like, I just have to get him to school.
Okay.
And call the police and come back, you know.
Did you or your brother say anything at some point about calling the police or calling 911? Do you remember?
Yeah, he called me.
Okay.
And he said, are you taking JJ to school? And I said, yeah, we need to call the police. And he said, okay.
Okay.
So you before you call the police, before you do anything, you're taking your kid to school and he's calling you to ask you if you're taking the kid to school before anybody is even thinking about calling the police or notifying the authorities.
All right. He called you when you didn't come back inside, basically?
Right. Because I was like in the car for a minute and then I was like, what do I do?
It looks on the surface that an enraged Charles stormed the house and started shouting at Lori. Alex decided to intervene, fearing for his sister's life, but what started as a disagreement quickly turned into a fight, one that would end with Charles lying cold on the ground. And Tylee seems to back up what Lori and Alex said when she tells her version of events.
Listen to the kid, bro.
And it was my stepdad, and he was just screaming at both of them, and so I just kind of stuck the baseball bat out there, and then he just grabbed it, and so I fell to the ground, and then my uncle kind of I saw him take a step back, so my uncle, I think, grabbed him and kind of took him back so he couldn't do anything, and so my mom said to go with JJ, and so I ran out the door, and then I kind of just stood there, and then eventually my mom came out, and then I heard a noise, which I know what it was now, but it sounded like someone took it and hit it really hard against the floor. Okay. So I just wanted to make sure that my stepdad didn't do anything to my uncle and stuff. And so she was like, no, I was fine, we're just gonna take JJ to school, and I was like, okay.
Despite Charles's lack of a violent history and how many times Alex nearly slipped up on scene, Lori's story coupled with Tylee's perspective was enough for detectives to officially rule this as self-defense.
No, just because the daughter's lying for the mother doesn't mean anything, man. Yo. Just because the daughter is lying for the mother, that doesn't mean anything, my dog. Yo, that is crazy.
We're just gonna take JJ to school, and I was like, okay.
Despite Charles's lack of a violent history and how many times Alex nearly slipped up on scene, Lori's
literally slipped up on scene.
Story coupled with Tylee's perspective was enough for detectives to officially rule this as self-defense. But the death of Charles Vallow was just the tip of the iceberg, and investigators quickly discovered that Lori had become entangled in the world of a seedy cult that would turn this seemingly perfect mom into a stone-cold killer.
Lori, Nate Eaton with East Idaho News. Can you tell me where your kids are? Where are your kids?
No comment.
No comment? They've been missing for 4 months. You have nothing to say? Listen, just tell people what's happening. There's people around the country praying for your children, praying for you guys. Why don't you give us answers?
That's great.
Just days after
Don't tell me you killed your kids because they knew the truth. Don't tell me you killed your kids because they said that they couldn't
Lori decided it was time
anymore.
for a change and moved the entire family across the country to Rexburg, Idaho. A strange choice at first, until you realized that this was the hometown of Chad Daybell, and Lori was now living minutes away from a man who had not only convinced her that her husband was evil, but was now beginning to spin the same evil stories for her kids as well. But this evil was now
believe Vallow. Oh my God! Now she's saying Tylee is a zombie. You know why you're saying Tylee is a zombie? Because Tylee is saying I can't do this anymore. I can't. We killed my stepdad, or I can't do this anymore. I can't live with the murder. I can't do this, Mom. I'm gonna tell the police. Now
Beginning
she's a
to
zombie
spin
and
the
you
same
killed fucking
evil
her.
stories for her kids as well. But this is when detectives met
God,
Melanie,
this is
Lori's
terrible.
best friend and another member of her cult. She was there to spill all the sordid details on their
Another member of the
ideology
cult.
and the beliefs that could soon lead to the death of Lori's
You
kids.
snitching, right?
Chad had said that
Thank
it's
God.
some childhood friend that Charles had, and that he died, and then he came back as he didn't ever leave. He was an unclean spirit that got trapped on the earth, and he was now attached to him for years, and he'd been studying him, right, and his behaviors and stuff like that. And so then he pushed his spirit out of the body and took over. That's what he said.
Push Chad, Charles' spirit.
Yeah, so his spirit has now moved on. So she believed that Charles was gone. He was already gone. So she was treating
You
him
believe
like he was
that?
an spider.
This is all extremely confusing, but simultaneously eye-opening, as it gives us a direct window into what Lori believed about her own family. Apparently, she thought Charles was possessed by a dark spirit, and by that point, he was already gone. The problem is, she thought the same for her children. Charles had corrupted them, and they'd turn into zombies.
So you mentioned zombies.
Yeah.
Was that ever a term that you were exposed to by them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Tell me more about the zombie.
She said she had a dream once, an earthquake happened in Utah. People that fell on the earth, if they were able to get rid of all the zombies in the world, then those zombies wouldn't get into those dead bodies and come back. I remember one time.
What in the motherfucking Final Destination is she talking about? So an earthquake happened, the world opened up, and you get rid of the zombies?
She took a nap and she's like, okay, here's the United States. We're going to do a prayer. Let's find out.
How do you know
how
you're not a
zombies are
zombie?
in Arizona. Okay, there's 20,000. 10. I don't even remember the numbers it was saw out there. And then she'd say a little prayer, whatever words she'd come up with that she thought were powerful. And then he would check. Oh, somebody died. Look, you can come find out. So then that was her way. In my opinion, what I saw, at least, was just through a prayer that these people would pass away.
Lori believed that if the Earth was to truly be pure, all the zombies had to be killed. Chad also began to feed Lori more and more fantastical lies about how the world worked, including ascension, translation, and the ability to meet with God himself.
And then they had a scale of 0 to 100% how much you could trust people. I was supposed to be like 97%. They were always building me up. Anyway, she would sometimes share like, oh, this person or that person, that's not trustworthy, it's this person, and that was their booking.
More about, maybe you know or don't know, vibrations.
So vibrations, yes, I'm aware of that too. So according to how he would check, he used that little pendulum thing.
This lady, like, she's giving a good explanation of the cult, but I hope this lady is not indoctrinated in this cult anymore, and that she is awoken to what the fuck it really is, because
I didn't know that.
It's just terrible.
But anyway, 1,000 was supposed to mean, if you got to 1,000, that means you're translated, or you're beginning your translation. And then as you get higher in your vibration, you could portal at some point, maybe, I don't remember what she would say, 2,500 maybe, or something like that. And so the more you went to the temple, your vibration would increase. So it's just like your light would increase, your vibration, that kind of idea. Okay. If that makes sense.
the cops are just listening and they're like, okay, I've heard enough. Y'all are batshit crazy.
She could speak to Jesus and appeared to be consumed by Chad's work. Not long after, their relationship began to heat up, and they even started a religious podcast together that showed, frankly, just how insane she had become.
I too have
She's sitting there in a relationship with the cult leader now?
seen the resurrected Jesus Christ, and he has told me my mission, and he has sent me to help people and lift them in their missions.
Over time, Lori had become more outspoken with her beliefs of zombies and began to tell her friends about how many people had been consumed by evil spirits and demons. Lori then started telling her friends that her son JJ's behavior had changed and that he had started telling her he loved Satan, as well as becoming more disruptive in the home. Had police listened to Charles Vallow when he feared for JJ and Tylee's lives, then they could have prevented the series of tragic events that followed. Only days after moving to Rexburg, Lori, Alex, JJ, and Tylee visited Yellowstone Park. This was the last time anyone saw Tylee alive. Things became even stranger on September 17, 2019, when JJ was spotted running into his Idaho home on a neighbor's door cam, never to be seen again. Months later, people started to realize that they hadn't heard from...
Yo, this is sick, dog. Yo, so why didn't I just want to know why didn't the police look into shit when the
JJ
husband
in a
was
long
trying
time,
to
and
warn
Charles'
them,
parents called 911 to alert the police of his disappearance. Lori was caught lying to officers on November 26th after they had made a welfare check on JJ. According to Lori, her son was with her friend Melanie back in Arizona, but Melanie not only denied having him, but she also told police Lori had asked her to lie and pretend to officers JJ was staying with her. Then, in December, Alex died suddenly. His death was ruled as natural causes, but the amount of death and strange occurrences involving Lori was reaching impossible levels of coincidence. By this time, police were also extremely concerned for the welfare of JJ and Tylee, so Lori was served an order in January 2020 forcing her to prove that they are safe and well. However, the deadline came and went, and Lori was arrested 3 weeks later and placed on a bail of $5 million. But even after the arrest, both Lori and Chad remained silent and refused to give up any information on the kids. But finally, a further 5 months later, the police would get their answers when detectives initiated a...
Oh, let me see. No, that's just
and Chad
Lori.
remained
Chad's in the... So Chad's free.
Silent and refused to give up
Why
any
the fuck is
information on the
Chad free?
kids.
Chad's the sitting
But
here the
finally,
leader.
a further 5 months later,
Isn't it
the
illegal
police
to-
would get
isn't
their
it-
answers.
Isn't it illegal to be the ringleader of a cult or something like that? Like...
When detectives initiated a search of Chad Daybell's property. There, they found the bodies of JJ and Tylee.
There we go.
JJ's body was found
Lock
wrapped
him
in
up.
duct tape and
Lock him
placed
up.
in a
Lock him
plastic
up.
bag, while Tylee had been dismembered and burned in a fire pit before being buried.
You're not gonna tell me what happened with him? Like... He told them. Imagine getting... Update. All right. Update. She's serving 4 consecutive life sentences for murder. Her convictions include first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and grand theft. Chad Daybell was also convicted for insurance fraud. Insurance fraud? Nigga, you couldn't get him for the fucking murder. The bodies were found on his property.
Later, the police would get their answers when detectives initiated a...
All right, that's enough. That's enough of that. Y'all let me know what y'all think of that. Y'all let me know. Do you think... This is a good question. Do you think the former cult member is a snitch for coming out with all the information, explaining everything the way she did? I don't think so, but y'all make sure to like my video. Shit. Gone.